Hello and welcome to the Stand With Us International Tapestry of Voices for Israel. My name is Michael Dixon and I'm Executive Director of Stand With Us Israel, coming to you from Jerusalem. Thank you for joining us today. This is going to be a dynamic, inspiring program that you're sure to enjoy. We will hear from 6 diverse, incredible people who see Israel as a true beacon of light that they love and support. We will hear from students who've been challenged by the harsh reality of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, who stood tall and, with the support of Stand With Us, were able to fight back against hate and bigotry. We'll be taken on a behind-the-scenes private tour of a new archaeological dig in Jerusalem with Yoni Zila, our own extraordinary Stand With Us tour guide. We will see a painting come to life by the one and only Solomon Souza, one of the most recognized modern painters in Israel today. We'll be entertained by the brilliant comedian Ilan Gold and enjoy an exclusive appearance from a rising Jewish rapper, Westside Gravy, and much more. Be sure to stay with us and enjoy the program. Before we get started, I thought I'd take you on a quick journey, a journey through the resilience of Stand With Us. As you know, Stand With Us remains an incredible leader in the pro-Israel educational space. We continue to educate hundreds of thousands of students each year with our middle school, high school, and university programs, and we reach millions of people of all ages every week through our social media. When COVID hit in March, we had to adapt quickly to maintain our important work. With the speed of lightning, our incredible social media and education teams pivoted all our resources and training to the online space, even holding multiple virtual educational conferences throughout the summer. And that's not all. We created Stand With Us TV and have gone on to educate and inspire tens of thousands of people each week with our new digital content. We're so proud of our international team and are certain that people who care about Israel and the fight against anti-Semitism can sleep easier, knowing that Stand With Us is in full force even during this pandemic. So, without further ado, let's get this show started. Solomon Souza is a British-born artist currently living in Jerusalem, whose street art journey began in his early teens. This led him to various international commissions of murals in New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, Sydney, Goa in India, and Chelsea Football Stadium in London, and of course, in Tel Aviv. At 21, Solomon painted his best-known spray portraits of contemporary and historical figures on the metal shutters of the Machane Yehuda market, the Shuk, in the heart of Jerusalem. His vision is to bring inspiration and motivation to the world through vibrant, colorful murals and original artworks inspired by life, faith, and culture. Take a look.
I see it as like the heart of the city. In the daytime, people sustain their physical needs. People go to eat. But every night, when the shutters close, something else opens.
I was walking through the Shuk on a Shabbat afternoon, and I envisioned it full of color. So I spoke to a friend of mine who had a few shutters, and she gave us permission. And he started, and then it just snowballed. Like, shop owners started demanding that he come paint their shop next, and requesting this tzaddik and that rabbi.
My art is a combination of experiences and memories and inspirations that I've had, but I have so much freedom with the colors that I choose, and that's really where I have my fun. I remember all of them, I remember painting all of them. They all hold something within me, from famous historical characters to my roommate, who definitely inspires me.
You have scientists, you have shop owners.
So there's a few biblical scenes.
There are rabbis, entertainers, freedom fighters.
So this Holocaust Remembrance Day, I decided to paint Steven Spielberg, because he really changed the consciousness of the Holocaust with his film Schindler's List. But he is an example how one man really made a difference.
We painted Esther Carolyn Gold. She came here to teach in 1946, and it was pretty hectic when she got here, and she signed up to fight, died fighting. So she was an inspiration to us. Maya Lansky, everyone knows him as a gangster, but he played an integral role in the founding of this country. Dona Gracia Nassi was a Portuguese businesswoman who, during the Inquisition, organized and financed operation to smuggle Jews out of the country to safety.
Henrietta Zold founding Hadassah.
Henrietta came here, pre-state, saw something that needed to be done, and did it. And today you have hospitals all over the country.
A lot of the characters painted here made what we have today possible.
There's so many inspiring stories here, and the people we've picked, really like the foundations of this country. It took me at least a year of living here to really understand that I had moved back to my ancestors' homeland.
There are over 300 shutters here in the Shuk. Solomon himself has painted about 130 so far. It's tough to keep track.
My personal goal is to see the shutters all painted.
All the universal aspects of our culture in one place, surrounded by these murals that tell our story. An educational, historical, inspirational gallery here.
People will see people who have made an impact, who have changed the world for the better, and will want to go out and do it themselves.
Inspire people to make the world even just a little better.
Learning the stories of the people who rebuilt this country inspires us to continue in the rebuilding of the greatest city in the world. And we hope sharing these stories will inspire others to do the same. That's what keeps me going.
Hi everyone, I'm Solomon Souza. I'm a painter and a muralist. And we've teamed up with Stand With Us to do a little project for you guys. So I really support the work that Stand With Us does. Really appreciate it. It's very needed in this day and age when we have growing hatred and misinformation concerning the Jewish people in Israel. And they do a great job at combating that. Keep up the good work.
Solomon has been gracious enough to agree to create a special painting for us, which we can watch come to life during this broadcast. Let's take a look at him in action. Now, as our viewers, you'll be able to bid on this one-of-a-kind piece by Solomon at the end of the broadcast. So stay tuned for more details. Now let's hear from a good friend of mine, the only comedian to ever perform at the UN for a pro-Israel anti-BDS event, Ilan Gold.
Hey everybody, Ilan Gold here. So excited to be here in this great, amazing virtual Stand With Us event. That's right, and this is the comedy portion. Now, I don't like doing stand-up comedy to no one, only for Stand With Us. That's how much I love this organization. So, Stand With Us was very kind. They sent me a few tools to help get me through this. For example, since I won't be able to hear laughs, I just push this button. If a joke's really good, you can also... And then, of course, if a joke doesn't go over, it's the big... Womp womp. Oy vey. Let's hope for less of those. I only have a few minutes here, so let's get to it. And again, this is very awkward for me. I'm on Zoom. I hate Zoom. I've had it with Zoom. I miss Waze. Remember Waze? Oh my God, do I like Waze? I don't like Zoom. When did we go from Wazing everywhere to Zooming nowhere? I have had it with Zoom. And it all started on Pesach, months ago. You saw the writing on the wall with the Zoom Seder. Remember that? The Zoom Seder? The only Seder where you not only break the matzah, you break Yontif. Everything is on Zoom now, and here's where I draw the line. The Zoom Shiva. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I can't sit there on gallery view with a bunch of other people like a depressing Brady Bunch. Just like, yeah, I'm sorry. So terrible. I know. It's so sad. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Do I go now? Who goes? I'm so sorry. This is just, he sounds wonderful. He really did. I'm so sorry that I never met him. Yeah. Have we met, by the way? I'm not sure. Oh, we haven't. Okay, good. No, I didn't. I got the email and I just clicked Zoom Shiva and I was like, yeah. These are crazy times. These are bad times. And listen, I don't mean to complain, but it just feels like right now, everyone's either asymptomatic or anti-Semitic. Right? Like being asymptomatic, you can be anti-Semitic and not even know you have it. You exhibit no signs whatsoever, but you have it, you just don't know it. Like take Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson may not have even known he had it. It took a little alcohol to activate it, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I have it. How did I get it? My father gave it to me. I was just with him 5 days ago and he was just spewing Jew hatred at me. And now I have it. And sometimes you just have a mild case of it. You show a few symptoms and you are in denial that you have it, right? Like if you tweet something like it's all about the Benjamins. Now I see this tweet and I'm like, oh, she needs to get tested. And now enjoy this. And who knows, I may be back in a few minutes.
Thank you, Ilan. That was hilarious. We didn't have to press that oy vey button even once. Now, I'd like to introduce you to two very important people, two of our special voices for Israel today. The director of the Stand With Us Department for Combating Anti-Semitism, Carly Gamel, and an Egyptian American who survived torture at the hands of the Egyptian government and went on to seek asylum in America, Hussein Abu Bakr. Hussein not only supports Israel, but actively educates and speaks out on behalf of Israel personally and also through his work at Stand With Us.
I'm Carly Gamel. I'm an American and I'm a Christian. And I come from a family that treasures Israel, that believes that those who bless Israel will be blessed. So from a pretty early age, I've had an affinity for the state of Israel. And then in school, I learned about the Holocaust, and I was horrified. I could not believe that any human being could treat another human being that way. And it really gave me a new perspective and, frankly, appreciation for the state of Israel. I've always been aware of anti-Semitism and understood that it affects entire cultures, that it doesn't just harm Jews, but all of society. And we have a pretty good understanding of bigotry and discrimination, and we really don't have much trouble identifying them in their many forms. But for some reason, anti-Semitism seems to keep getting a pass. So just as sexism and racism are wrong, we should understand that anti-Semitism is wrong, that standing against hatred cannot be effective if it's selective. I know that the Jewish people have a deep and abiding connection to the land of Israel. As an American and as a Christian, I am a Zionist who stands with and in support of the Jewish people and of the state of Israel, and of the right of Israel not only to survive, but to thrive as the homeland of the Jewish people.
My name is Hussein Abu Bakr, an Egyptian from Cairo. Despite growing up in a very anti-Semitic environment and being taught to hate Israel and everything it stands for from an early age, I did my own research and went on a very different journey. And I chose to support Israel and to stand against hatred. I suffered persecution in Egypt for my views and nearly died. I know at a very deep level that hatred is a corrosive and a destructive force. It seeks not only to shatter lives, but to destroy the human soul itself. I stand with Israel because I believe in peace, coexistence, and the inalienable right of every human to live free of hatred, bigotry, and persecution. Anti-Semitism hurts not only the Jewish people, but it hurts all of us. The unspeakable horror such toxic and malevolent ideas cause is something we must all be aware of. I will always stand with the Jewish people and with the state of Israel.
Powerful. Thank you, Carly and Hussein, for your incredible support. Now let's check back quickly with Solomon Souza to see his progress on the painting. I may have to bid on this myself. All of you watching out there are going to have some competition. Now let's hear from an Arab Israeli who was injured in the Second Lebanon War after volunteering to serve in the IDF, Yosef Haddad.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yusuf Haddad, and I'm an Israeli Arab. I grew up in Haifa, surrounded by Muslims, Christians, and Jews, all Israelis. After high school, I saw all my friends be drafted into the Israeli army, and while military service is not mandatory for Arab citizens, I saw no reason why I shouldn't join the army to serve my country. I knew I made the right choice when only a few months before I began my service, I saw the terrible bombing of the Maxim restaurant that was jointly owned by Arabs and Jews in Haifa. During my army service, I was badly injured in the Second Lebanon War when our brigade was attacked by Hezbollah terrorists who were responsible for the death of 44 Israeli civilians, half of whom were Israeli Arabs like me. Because terrorists don't discriminate against Jews or Arabs, they discriminate against all of us, Israelis. Today, I'm the CEO of the organization Together Vouch for Each Other, which works to expand cooperation and brotherhood between Israelis of all backgrounds. Together, we fight the lies about Israel that the BDS movement spreads, whether on campus, in the community, or in the media. I'm driven to challenge the lies of the BDS and to show people the truth that Israel is a tapestry of citizens and that Arabs can play a full role in a Jewish and democratic state. I am so grateful to Stand With Us for helping me to elevate my message through their platforms and for the work they do. A new generation is awakening, and the future will be one of peace and understanding in Israel, as long as we make our voices heard. Because if a Hezbollah missile cannot stop me, nothing can. And that is why I stand with my country, the State of Israel.
And we stand with you, Yusuf. Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring stories of perseverance. Now, I don't have to tell you, anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are on the rise in America and across the world. And the battle has been brought right onto our college and high school campuses, confronting our Jewish students head-on. Fortunately, Stand With Us is always there to support courageous student heroes who are willing to stand up for Israel, but need the tools and the training to do so. Now we're going to give you a look at how Stand With Us supports students on campuses and high schools across North America and beyond. Listen closely to our incredible students who have stood up against anti-Semitism.
My name is Chloe Levion, and I went to Santa Monica College.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Stern, and I attended NYU from 2015 to 2019.
My name is Meshi Ben-Ezri. I'm 18 years old, and I was a Stand With Us high school intern this past year.
My name is Ben Shapiro, and I recently graduated from Tufts University.
My name's Aaron Carpenter, and I'm a fifth-year senior at Appalachian State University.
My name is Leos, and I'm a senior now at Florida State University.
My name is Sarah, and I want to tell you about how I got involved with this incredible organization. So I'm the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, and being Jewish has always been a really important part of my identity. I went to Jewish summer camp, I was involved with different Jewish organizations, we did a lot of Jewish activity in the home, but I never knew what it meant to act on my Jewish identity until I started university.
I was the president of Torch PAC, which is NYU's Israel advocacy club that focuses on politics. And during that time, Jewish Voice for Peace, which was one of the anti-Israel clubs on campus, filed an unfair grievance against us based on a private event that we held. They claimed we were discriminating against them for not inviting them to our event.
There was a course that was being offered called Colonizing Palestine. And here I am sitting at my house in the summer, waiting to get back to school, super excited for all my classes, seeing all my friends. And this is a direct attack on my identity as a Jewish student.
There were many instances of anti-Semitism on my campus. With campus being closed, you can think that that's difficult to happen. However, this all happened online on our Facebook pages. This happened through videos posted onto social media by our FSU Student Senate president.
I myself am a Semite and will not allow racist Israeli policy to commit those same crimes against my people without speaking on my lived experiences.
Every single year leading up until my junior year, there's been at least one or two acts of anti-Semitism either in my community or on my campus. My freshman year, someone vandalized the temple. My sophomore year, there was a white nationalist group posting flyers all over.
They started yelling at us. They said that we were racist, that we were anti-Black, that we all look the same, we were ugly. All of this because we were having an event in support of Israel, and we had the Israeli flag prominent on our table.
I was a freshman at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and I was really eager to learn, to take in everything I could, and I signed up for a course called Introduction into Middle East Studies. But what I realized quickly was that it was actually an opportunity for my professor to bash Israel at every instant that he could. I sat there lecture after lecture as I heard things like Jews are colonizers, Israel's an apartheid state, and I watched as my peers sat there intently, thinking that every word he said was at face value. It was in that moment that I realized I had to make a choice. I could either sit there quietly or I could do something about it. And that's when I found Stand With Us.
They really helped calm me down and give me the strength to keep going and push forward with whatever was happening at that moment.
I'm so thankful to Stand With Us for providing me with resources, documents, even speakers who can come to campus and help make the case for defining anti-Semitism as what it is, a hatred.
I had multiple meetings with the Stand With Us legal team and the strategy team and my campus coordinator all during quarantine, where they helped me ensure that when I was leaving SMC, I was leaving SMC a safer school for Jewish students.
And something that I realized through working with Stand With Us is it's better to be proactive when educating people. And so my senior year, now I'm a fifth year, I planned out a day against hate. And at this event, we were able to get the mayor of my town, the chancellor of my university, T.M. Garrett, the former neo-Nazi turned human rights activist, and Hussein Abu Bakr to speak at the event as well. And Stand With Us was able to help me in so many ways. They helped me bring speakers to this event, they helped fund the event, and they were there at the event.
Stand With Us really helped me on my high school campus. They were able to give me the tools I needed in order to stand up for Israel whenever a situation might come up. Any challenge that came our way, me and my board of the Israel Club were ready to battle it. I had such an amazing time as a Stand With Us high school intern this year, and learned so much more about my love for Israel and the state and its history and everything, that I decided to join the IDF this year.
Stand With Us is an incredible Israel education organization that gives students the tools not only to be able to educate about Israel, but to confidently speak up about it, because you can't have one without the other. You need to know the facts on the ground in order to be able to speak up to your professors, to educate your campus community, to have conversations with your peers, but you also need the confidence to be able to do so. I stayed involved with them throughout university. I had so much support that I needed in order not only to stand up when I had these types of things happen to me, but also to proactively educate my campus community. And when I graduated from university, I realized at that moment that there was nothing I would rather be doing than to helping support other students. It is our duty and our responsibility to keep anti-Semitism from becoming mainstream. Our students need the support, whether they're in university, they're at high school, or at any other juncture in their life, to have the voice to be able to speak up. They need the education, they need the confidence, and they need the resources so that they can continue to support Israel and support the Jewish people all around the world.
Hi, I'm Roz Rothstein, International CEO and co-founder of Stand With Us. Thank you to the courageous students who stood up to anti-Semitism, the ones you heard from tonight, and thank you to the students you did not hear from tonight, thousands of them standing up to anti-Semitism at their universities and high schools in cities across the US and Canada, and in cities around the world. We are so proud of the students, and also we're proud of our support for them. Since our early beginnings 19 years ago, we saw the rise of anti-Semitism, and it was the primary reason for our inception. You may not know this, but we have never said no to a student who comes to us for help in the fight against anti-Semitism. We have actually expanded our ability to help students not only through our brilliant campus and high school professionals, not only through our dedicated research and marketing and strategy department, not only through our educational training, even in middle school, but also through our legal department that oversees 170 pro bono attorneys who stand ready to help students or faculty members in trouble because of anti-Semitic bullying. Stand With Us has grown to meet the challenges we face today. We are nimble and creative, and so we can meet those challenges immediately. We are even offering rewards for information leading to the arrest and conviction of hate crimes against Jews and their property. We continue to grow all the time, but not by ourselves. The only way we are able to grow and meet the needs that students have identified, the only way that we can address the trends that we see as problematic, is with the help of people like you. As you probably realize, every single day we wake up to new challenges. So as Rosh Hashanah approaches, and during these pandemic months, please help us stay strong and continue to grow to meet the needs that we know are important to you. And not just important to you, but also to your children and grandchildren. Please tonight, use the donate button on your screen and be our strong partners as we represent you around the world. And together, let's never say no to supporting people who are standing up for Israel or standing up against anti-Semitism. Let's help them win the battle against bigotry. I would like to wish all of you, our Jewish and our non-Jewish friends, a sweet and healthy year ahead. The co-founders of Stand With Us, Jerry Rothstein, Esther Renzer, and I are so deeply appreciative to you for making the important work of Stand With Us not only possible, but stronger than ever during these challenging times. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you so much, Roz, and thank you all for your vital support of the important work of Stand With Us. Please help support our work in any way you can. If you're watching on our website, please click on the donate link. And if you're watching on Facebook, the link to donate is in the description. Thank you. Now, another way to support Stand With Us. We are very excited to announce that Stand With Us is about to launch a fitness challenge. We all know that the pandemic will end, and we might as well emerge healthy and fit when it does end. You'll be able to choose how you participate based on your own way of exercising. It could be walking, running, Zumba, yoga, literally any form of exercise that you choose. Make sure you're registered for our newsletter at standwithus.com so you'll be notified when the fitness challenge is launched, so you can be part of the healthy fun. Now it's time for more entertainment. There are many comedians, but they're not as good as Gold. Let's welcome back Ilan Gold.
I'm back. Thank you, guys. Oh, I just love being here, and this is a big Stand With Us virtual event, and I've been involved in Stand With Us for over a decade. Couldn't be more proud of my association, affiliation, and support for this organization and everybody that works there, from Roz and Jerry and Esther. Too many to name. The work they do, more important than ever right now. Here's the thing. We're facing two viruses now, folks, and you know that. We have COVID-19 and anti-Semitism, and Stand With Us is on the front lines. And they are fighting every day against anti-Semitism, anti-Israel sentiment, BDS, all of it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Stand With Us. And now back to the... So this is a big international event, and you know, there are Jews from all over the world. I didn't know this growing up in the Bronx. I had a very small worldview. I never got out of the Bronx until I started traveling and doing gigs. But as a kid in the Bronx, I was just like, I guess everyone's like me or the quintessential Jew, Woody Allen. You know, and that's crazy to think that, you know, all Jews sound like this and marry our daughters. No, turns out no one else does but him. And then I started traveling. I remember doing a gig in Panama, and I was like, oh, there are Latin Jews? Wow. And these Latin Jews, they are the sexiest of Jews. Oh, yeah. A lot of them are in Miami right now. They're very macho. They'll come right up to you. They'll be like, hello, how are you? And you're like, wow, I'm doing very well, thank you, how are you? They're so different than the New York Jews that I grew up with, who will tell you like what college they went to. Like, I went to Columbia. I'm from Colombia, right? My family were in nursing homes. Mi familia, we're in the cocaína business. Do you want some cocaína? No, I don't do cocaína, but thank you. Had no idea that there were English Jews. Turns out there is a huge Jewish community. I went there to perform at a Stand With Us event, and it was very cool until I got on stage and realized that English Jews think that laughing is improper, because I don't think I got a laugh. They wouldn't laugh. At the end of the joke, they would just talk about how good the joke was. Well, that was quite clever, wasn't it? Oh, that was my favorite one yet. I'm like, would you guys laugh at all? They literally would come over to me after the show and be like, that was one of the most wonderful comedic performances I've ever seen in my life, and I need to let you know that. And I was like, you could have let me know that during the show. And then, of course, you go to Israel. Israel is, among so many things I love about Israel, it's just so multicultural. You have Jews and Druze and Christians and Muslims, people from all over the world. But even within the Jewish community itself, it is the most diverse Jewish community. You'd think it's all just Israelis. It's not. Like, you land in Israel, you'll think you're going to get an Israeli cab driver who'll be like, where you want to go? Please, tell me. Tell me where you want to go. I take you anywhere. I take you anywhere you want to go. Please, tell me. Just tell me. Please. Well, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, what? Haifa, Jaffa? Where you want to go? You want to go, what do you want to go? Down to Eilat? I take you down to Eilat. Take you down to Eilat or top of Masada? You want to go top of Masada? Down to Eilat. You want to go top down? You want top down? What do you want? Top down? What is this, a convertible? What are you asking? Top down? I'm not sure what you're asking. But anyway, my point is, you get into a cab at Ben Gurion Airport, it could be a Russian guy. Hello, welcome to the Holy Land. And I love that there are diverse communities of different kinds of Jews from all different backgrounds and origins. And that's what it's like in Israel, and that's what it's like all over the world. But we all adhere to the same saying, which is, Am Yisrael Chai. That's right, we are one nation under one God, indivisible, unless we start talking politics, and then it all falls apart. Because the election's like, who will win? Rosh Hashanah is who will live, right? That's a little bit more important. Who will live, especially during a pandemic? Oh my goodness. And by the way, I love the Gentiles. That's the thing about Stand With Us. We have supporters that are non-Jews, that are Jews. I love Gentiles. I admire them for so many reasons. One of them, the fact that they celebrate their new year with joy and happiness and partying. Yeah, they have a party for their New Year's. Our New Year's? Judgment Day. Who will live and who will die? And here's a list of all the many ways you can be killed. Pray now, or one of these ways to die can be yours. Oh. Happy New Year. And have a very healthy New Year, everybody. Healthy New Year, because health is the most important thing. And we'll try to get happy next year. I'll see you. Keep supporting Stand With Us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ilan. Terrific comedy. And thanks for always being there for Stand With Us. And now for a very special part of this program. I'm here in Jerusalem, and so is Stand With Us tour guide and director of tourism, Yoni Zirla, who is going to show us something very special. Yoni, over to you.
Hey everyone, it's Yoni from Stand With Us, and I am coming to you from a fantastic site today. We are literally underneath the Western Wall Plaza, actually right underneath the bathrooms of the Western Wall in an archaeological layer cake. All of these different layers of civilization, of different civilizations that have this deep connection to Jerusalem and over thousands of years built on top of another to create Jerusalem as we know it today. We're gonna dig down 2,000 years back throughout all of this history with the help of Asaf Solomon of the Western Wall Heritage Foundation. Hello, Asaf.
Hello, Yoni. Thank you guys for joining us. Without too many words, let's just head down. We're stepping down 2,000 years, walking down into history. So come follow me, watch your heads.
Excellent.
Watch your steps.
All right, come on everyone. Remember that this is an active archaeological dig, so this is the real deal. This isn't for tourists, and you just gotta be careful where you step right now.
Okay. So we're in an active dig. Okay, on a daily basis, this place has been excavated over the last few years. And what's fascinating is the finds that are being found here. First, we'll start with the structure we're standing in. This is a Byzantine period. We're talking about some 1,600-year-old structure that is using previous stones, recycled stones, and was fixed up several times after, again, in the Abbasid, the early Islamic period, so some 1,250 years ago. So this is a fascinating structure, and one of the nicest finds, if we can get this up there, Roy, is the stone. Okay, this is a Roman capital with the beautiful masonry work, the shape on the stone of the Corinthic style. And this was found here during the excavation when it was reused. to build up the structure. They basically found the stone hundreds of years old and shoved it in. In another corner here, they found a Roman inscription, a stone that lost its, I'll say its importance. Hundreds of years later, it's just shoved in as a stone over here. One of my favorite finds here is, you'll figure it out on your own, but we're standing at the entrance to the building, okay? Standing at the entrance of the building, you can see over here, I believe we call this the threshold, okay? And here you can even see a niche where the pole of the door would be. So the door would open up in here. And as we clean up the stone, we find an interesting niche over here. Yoni, does this look familiar to you?
Did you look at that? I think we're just gonna come over here and, reach in, give it a little kiss over there.
Mezuzah. Maybe. A structure which is dated to, at this point, the 11th century, fixed up again, used by Jews. What could it be? We're not sure. Okay, we're not sure. We haven't found a sign, welcome to this spot or that spot, but lots of opinions and ideas are coming up. The imagination works here extra hours, of course. If we head over to this end of the excavation, you can actually see here a floor. Okay, can you come over here? Yeah. So you can see the floor of this structure. It's made from mosaic stones. Not so fine like in the Roman period. This is Abbasi, so I'll say early Islamic. You can see the size of the stones. And this was the floor of the structure when this was excavated. And one of the archaeologists started breaking through. And when you break through the floor here, they find the bedrock. They actually leveled here the bedrock in order to pave the floor of the building. As an archaeologist, when you find the bedrock, that kind of says your excavation is coming to an end, right? There's nothing underneath the bedrock, but there was a surprise over here. One of the archaeologists actually starts to dig down and finds what he thinks is an opening, but let's step down there to see it from close. So follow me, watch out. Yoni, are you coming? Okay. Watch out.
You guys are going into the bedrock now. This is unusual. You don't usually get to do this. There we go. Right now, come on down. Come on down, everyone. Take a look around here inside the bedrock itself.
Show this corner too.
Oh yeah, real quick. Give you a quick little look around over here. Wow.
Okay. So as Yoni pointed out, we're actually standing in the bedrock. This was filled up. Okay, this was filled up with big stones in order to support the floor. But as the excavation was going on, we started finding this structure over here with these niches, a rounded one, a square one over there. And just next to it, maybe I'll step over, you can see these triangle ones that fit just enough for an oil lamp. Okay, so we're talking about a structure which was lit up. Okay, what's fascinating is that it's cut in the bedrock. We know that at that time, people built homes made of stone, and they built all over. Why are they cutting into the bedrock? And as the excavation is going, they find here this entrance. What was this used for? Let's step inside and maybe discuss it inside.
Okay, yeah, so this is a lot of effort put into digging through this stone.
It's hard bedrock. Right. Okay, it's not soft. Hard work was put in here.
Wow. All right, let's take a look.
Let's take a look. Okay, so in this room, first of all, we find more niches. This could actually fit maybe a shelf. There's another one over there.
Wow.
Again, the small niche maybe for an oil lamp. And together with this, they also find actual oil lamps, which allow us to date. Okay? The pottery that is found here allows us to date this to the Second Temple period. We're talking about 2,000 years ago. Cooking pots, just daily wear. Then the questions come up, so what is this used for?
Right.
That's the big question. I want to remind you, we're just 100 and something meters from the Temple Mount, the place of the temple. And there's an underground room here, maybe used for storage. maybe people were living here, living a space for hot rooms, for hot days, for cooler days. And maybe we have also evidence of that happening, Jews hiding here during the rebellion, running away from the Romans that are searching for them above. Eventually, it gets filled up and covered.
And waits for all of these years until somebody comes along and digs it.
And what's fascinating is that it's not over, right? You're standing.
Look at this. Come take a look at where I'm standing. Come on down. We're going to walk very, very carefully. Oh. See this, guys? Look at this. There's another room over here. It's filled with water, so I'm not going to go in any further. But there is another room here, and I guess that means there are other rooms throughout. This could be a whole complex here of rooms. Correct, Asaf?
Yes, I think that's what's fascinating about the archaeology here, is that it's unexpected. We find these surprises as the excavations go. We continue digging and discover more and more secrets that this city has been keeping for thousands of years. And this is just the beginning at this point. So the excavations are going to continue on and hopefully discover more and more of the past of this amazing city.
Amazing. So a lot of intrigue here. We're leaving with a little bit of a question mark as to what this was, theories, but nothing concrete. But you will be able to say in another 5-10 years, when they finally identify what exactly this is, you'll be able to say, I saw it before anyone knew what it actually was. But most importantly, Asaf, I always say to people when I guide them here at the Western Wall tunnels, we've dug through history, we've learned about history together. More importantly is to learn from history and to create history together. And we should create together with your help and all of your support of Stand With Us of Israel and of the Jewish people throughout the world. We should create new pages, new chapters in the history books filled with pages of hope, of happiness, of solidarity, and of only good things as we move forward, especially as we move forward to this new year. And I think we'll wish you all Shana Tova U'Mitucha. Happy sweet New Year here from Jerusalem. Thank you, Asaf.
Shana Tova, all of you.
All right, bye everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Yoni, for that exciting, special, and informative journey. Here at Stand With Us, we're now able to offer private virtual tours of the Holy Land. Even if you can't leave your home right now, we can transport you to Israel in real time. No masks required. Visit standwithus.com/discover tours for details and choose your personalized tour. Now let's hear from former commander of British Armed Forces in Afghanistan, Colonel Richard Kemp, and director of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, Joshua Washington.
I am Colonel Richard Kemp. I'm a former commander of British Armed Forces in Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere, and I strongly support the State of Israel. During my career, I studied the Israel Defense Forces in depth, visited Israel, and worked extensively with the IDF and Israeli intelligence. When I worked on countering international terrorism, I saw firsthand how Israel helps to keep us all more secure. Countries around the world have a lot to thank Israel for. Put simply, Israeli military and intelligence personnel, through their friendship with allied countries, are saving lives. For me, it's all about education. My father never visited Israel and didn't know any Jews, but he did serve in the Second World War and knew the suffering that was inflicted on the Jewish people in the Holocaust. He felt very strongly that they deserved their own state. So do I. And that is why, when the Jewish state is defamed by rogue regimes and countries with a politicized agenda, I have gone to the UN Human Rights Council and many venues around the world to speak up in support of Israel. My personal motto is keep attacking. And I've always been so deeply impressed by the work that Stand With Us does to attack those who seek to unfairly defame Israel. You fight on a different front line, and a no less important one. And I want you to know I will always, always be there to stand with Israel and to stand with you.
I'm Joshua Washington. I'm a Christian, I'm an American, and I support Israel. Growing up in a family of faith, the son of a pastor, Dumisani, Washington, I knew the special place Israel has in Scripture, and I knew that those who bless Israel themselves will be blessed. But the Israel I love, I came to know myself. When I visited Israel for the first time, I walked the biblical streets, but also saw the modern, diverse state of Israel. I know that Israel represents what is right in the Middle East, and that Israel is a beacon for the world, including us here in America. Martin Luther King represented that too, and it pains me that some seek to divide Black Americans and Jews and Americans from Israel. Jews and Black Americans have a long shared history of suffering from discrimination, violence, and worse, so we must be a unifying force. It is time to unite for justice once again. As a musician and director of the Institute for Black Solidarity with Israel, I teach both through music and speaking, and education is the key. We must teach the next generation to stand up against injustice, and that includes anti-Semitism. Mark Twain told us, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Today's anti-Semitic attacks are no less reprehensible than those of the past. But our weapon against misinformation, disinformation, slurs, and violence remains the same: truth and education. I vow to continue to be a voice in support of what is right in this world, and that includes being a voice for Israel.
Thank you for raising your voice, Joshua, part of our amazing tapestry of voices for Israel. Our appreciation to Colonel Kemp and Joshua Washington for your unrivaled support of the Jewish people and the state of Israel. We know we have nothing to fear with good friends like you. Now let's meet 20-year-old former Army brat and current college senior at George Washington University, a young man who's written and performed a series of emotional tracks that support Jewish peoplehood and the Jewish state. Welcome, Westside Gravy.
My name is Noah Shufutinsky, also known as Westside Gravy, and I'm currently a senior majoring in Judaic Studies at the George Washington University. I'm also a rapper and producer, and I use my talent and passion to represent my people. My experience as a Black Jewish American is rooted in people separated from their homeland. As a descendant of enslaved Africans, my connection to my homeland has been effectively erased. However, I maintain ties and traditions that are central to my Blackness. As a Jewish man, I'm fortunate that my people fought and bled to maintain connection to our indigenous homeland. Through pogroms, attempted genocide, enslavement, and exile, many have tried to disconnect and erase our ties to Israel. Fortunately, we have organizations like Stand With Us to offer support to Jews around the world and to combat erasure of our people's connection to Israel. I've been blessed to have been raised to be proud of my heritage. However, when I got to campus, I was faced with unexpected levels of anti-Semitism. Expressing myself through music helped me deal with all of the emotions that come with facing direct and blatant racism. I was pleasantly surprised to find that songs like Diaspora and Lionheart were well received by other Jews around the world. That showed me that not only do I have a place as a Black Jewish man in the world, but in the music profession, and that my voice resonates with an audience. Stand With Us were among the first to share my song Diaspora, which was a huge honor given how much I look up to them as an organization for Zionist activism. As a Black Jewish college student, everything I do is connected to my people, including my campus activism. Whether it's attending Hillel events, celebrating holidays such as SIG with my pro-Israel club and the Ethiopian Eritrean Student Association, or representing Israeli culture at campus festivals, my time as a student has been dedicated to celebrating who I am and where I come from. Stand With Us helped with bringing speakers and hosting events highlighting the diversity of the Jewish and Israeli community and empowering students to stand up for Israel and for ourselves, inspiring my fellow Jews and sharing our culture with non-Jews. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my music with the Stand With Us community, and I'm looking forward to future opportunities to continue to collaborate artistically and professionally with Stand With Us.
A great way to educate and inspire the younger generation by connecting them through music. At the end of the show, we'll watch one of his extraordinary music videos. You won't want to miss that. And as we near the end of our event, let's check back for a final look at the one-of-a-kind piece by Solomon Sousa. Here's a glimpse. You can bid on this special piece by visiting the link on the screen right now. The auction closes this Sunday, September 13th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure to get your bids in now. I know I will. And if you haven't done so yet and you'd like to, please support the work of Stand With Us by donating at the link on our webpage, or if you're watching on Facebook, the link is in the video description. Now, before we watch Westside Gravy perform his song Diaspora, we'd like to thank you for joining us for what I hope you'll agree was an inspiring event featuring true stories of resilience and strength in support of Israel and against hate and bigotry. Please stay tuned to Stand With Us TV and check standwithus.com for new resources you can use and more events like this and special ways to stay connected to Israel. We hope that you and your family are staying strong and healthy during this time. Shana Tova, wishing you a happy and most importantly, a healthy new year ahead from Stand With Us.
I'm a proud part of the diaspora. We ain't gon' play the victim, they get mad every time we're standing up. I'm proud of my people, what we accomplished. You're crazy if you think some rocket barrages will stop us. Look through our history and we've been through it all. Made it through slavery and a Holocaust and still standing tall. At the Kotel Western Wall, saying the Shema, meditating on all the populations to whom this song is dedicated. 6 Jewish families that resided in Khartoum. My Iraqi brothers and sisters survived the Farhud. The ones who came in 56 from Israel, now we're thriving. Garim Berushalayim. וגם בחיפה, הגולן ותל אביב, באר שבע, בהנגב ואילת by the sea. אתה יודע שלא שכחתי האתיופים שעשו את הכל, מה אתם אומרים שהם לא יכולים? I'm a proud part of the diaspora. In my heart I hold Jerusalem and Africa. Kicked us out of our land and started gassing us till we put our foot down cause we had enough. Check out the flag that I'm waving, 2 blue stripes and a huge star at David. Check out the flag that I'm waving. Keep shooting rockets, but you never gon' take it. Here I'm talking about the Jews will not replace us on college campuses that been trying to erase us. And all that BDS campaigning, we've dealt with worse problems and racist associations of students all acting stupid and thinking they're making differences, picking and choosing truths and not knowing what real resistance is. Say you value social justice, are you kidding us? What the hell gives you the right to tell me who's indigenous? You don't have it, you just assume the privilege of looking at other people and telling them what their image is. You want the image to fit your twisted narrative, but your divide and conquer tactics ain't scaring this diaspora, of which I'm a proud part. I got blue and white in my veins running through my heart. And they get mad when we're surviving. The truth is, only way they like a Jew is if they're dying. So I'ma say this by the candlelight. Take a moment and remember the fallen for their sacrifice. Never again, never forget. They wanted us dead, we rose from the ashes instead. מלמדים ההיסטוריה מדור לדור. לא יהיה לנו עתיד אם לא נזכור. We wouldn't have a future if we didn't have a past. So every day we gotta take a minute and honor those who passed. Then wake up determined cause we're returning to the ways that they tried to erase that we're preserving. Scattered in the wind in diaspora conditions, still maintain connection to our traditions. From Morocco to Havana to Yemen, living in Aden, Ciudad de Mexico, Buenos Aires, we're all one nation. Through all of the oppression that they threaten, trying to shatter us, I'm still a proud part of the diaspora. I'm a proud part of the diaspora. In my heart I hold Jerusalem and Africa. Kicked us out of our land and started gassing us till we put our foot down cause we had enough. Check out the flag that I'm waving, 2 blue stripes and a huge star at David. Check out the flag that I'm waving. Keep shooting rockets but you never gon' take it.